The email arrived just 3 days before Christmas, and it was never meant for me. I was finishing another late evening at the office when my phone vibrated with a notification from my boss. Expecting another spreadsheet or deadline, I opened the message without thinking. Instead, I found something that instantly made my heart stop. It wasn't a business document. It wasn't a project update. It was a simple Christmas wish list written from the heart, filled with hopes no executive would ever admit in public. At the bottom, before she could recall the message, there was one heartbreaking sentence that changed everything I believed about the woman everyone feared. She wrote that more than bonuses, promotions, or expensive gifts, she wished for one peaceful Christmas where her father could smile again, her little niece could laugh without worrying about hospital bills, and someone would remind her that she wasn't alone anymore. Seconds later, another email appeared with only a few embarrassed words asking me to forget what I had just seen because it had been sent by mistake. But some messages are accidents for a reason. And that unexpected mistake became the beginning of a story neither of us could have imagined. Before we continue, if you believe that love, kindness, and unexpected miracles still exist in this world, please take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Love Tales so you never miss another emotional story that could change your heart. For 3 years, I had worked as a junior financial analyst for one of the city's largest companies. My boss, Victoria Hayes, was known throughout the building as the Ice Queen. She was only 34 years old, brilliant beyond comparison, impossibly successful, and emotionally distant from everyone around her. Employees respected her because they feared disappointing her. She never raised her voice, but disappointment in her eyes hurt more than shouting ever could. Nobody knew much about her personal life because she never spoke about it. She arrived before sunrise, left after everyone else, and spent weekends answering emails that most people ignored until Monday. To us, she seemed like someone who had everything life could possibly offer. That accidental email shattered that illusion completely. I couldn't stop thinking about the list. She hadn't wished for a luxury vacation or another promotion. She wished her aging father would recover enough from his illness to enjoy Christmas dinner. She wished her niece Emma's medical treatments would continue successfully. She wished the old family bakery that had belonged to her late mother could somehow reopen one last time because it held every happy memory she still had. Reading those words made me realize how little we truly know about the people we judge every day. I almost deleted the email like she requested, but something inside me wouldn't let it go. I wasn't trying to impress my boss. I simply couldn't forget the sadness hidden behind the confident woman who led hundreds of employees without ever letting them see her pain. The following morning, the office looked exactly the same, yet everything felt different. Victoria walked past my desk wearing her usual calm expression, carrying folders and coffee as though nothing had happened. She apologized briefly for the accidental email and thanked me for my professionalism. Then she returned to discussing budgets as if emotions had never entered the room. But I noticed something I had never seen before. Behind her perfectly controlled smile were tired eyes that looked like they hadn't enjoyed a peaceful night's sleep in years. Christmas Eve was approaching quickly. Most employees were excited about vacations and family gatherings, but Victoria continued working long hours. I quietly began asking trusted coworkers small questions about her family. Piece by piece, the truth emerged. Her mother had passed away several years earlier. The family's bakery had closed after financial problems. Her father suffered from a heart condition that had worsened recently. Her sister had died unexpectedly, leaving behind young Emma, whose medical treatments consumed nearly every dollar Victoria earned despite her impressive salary. She carried responsibilities that would have crushed many people, yet she never allowed anyone to pity her. That night I went home unable to sleep. I wasn't wealthy. I couldn't pay hospital bills or buy a bakery. But maybe making someone's Christmas wish come true wasn't always about money. The next morning I visited the old neighborhood where the bakery once stood. The faded sign still hung above the door, covered with dust but refusing to fall. The windows were dark, yet neighbors remembered the family warmly. One elderly woman smiled through tears as she described the smell of fresh cinnamon bread that once filled the entire street every Christmas morning. Another neighbor showed me photographs from community celebrations where Victoria's mother had handed free cookies to children whose parents couldn't afford presents. Listening to those stories convinced me that the bakery had never simply sold bread. It had created hope. An idea slowly formed in my mind. Over the next 2 days, I contacted coworkers, neighbors, local businesses, and old customers. I explained that I wanted to surprise someone who had spent years quietly helping others while asking for nothing herself. To my amazement, people said yes. A carpenter repaired broken shelves for free. A florist decorated the entrance with Christmas wreaths. Former bakery employees volunteered to bake through the night using the family's original recipes that one retired baker had carefully preserved. Someone donated flour. Another donated decorations. Children from the neighborhood painted colorful welcome signs. What began as one impossible dream slowly became a community project fueled entirely by kindness. Meanwhile, Victoria knew nothing about it. Christmas morning arrived beneath a sky covered with soft snow. I asked Victoria if she could meet me for an urgent business matter before noon. She looked confused but agreed, probably expecting another financial emergency. When her car stopped outside the old bakery, she stared silently through the windshield. She recognized the building immediately, yet she couldn't understand why we were there. As we walked toward the entrance, she noticed lights glowing through the windows. Christmas music floated softly into the street. The familiar smell of fresh bread filled the cold air exactly as it had years before. The moment she stepped inside, time seemed to stop. The bakery had been transformed back into the place she remembered from childhood. Fresh pastries lined the shelves. Family photographs decorated the walls. Neighbors she hadn't seen in years waited with warm smiles. Her father sat near the fireplace wrapped in a comfortable blanket, healthier than she had expected after doctors allowed him to leave the hospital for a few hours. Little Emma ran across the room laughing louder than anyone had heard in months. Victoria stood frozen as tears filled her eyes. Nobody spoke for several seconds because no words could compete with that moment. She slowly walked toward the old wooden counter where her mother once served customers. Running her fingers across the polished surface, she closed her eyes and smiled through tears that refused to stop falling. Years of pressure, loneliness, responsibility, and silent grief finally escaped all at once. I realized then that Christmas miracles rarely arrive wrapped in expensive boxes. Sometimes they appear through ordinary people choosing to care. The celebration continued throughout the afternoon. Neighbors shared stories about Victoria's parents. Children decorated cookies. Elderly couples laughed together over hot chocolate. Emma proudly handed pastries to customers while wearing a tiny apron embroidered with her grandmother's name. Victoria's father watched everything with quiet gratitude shining in his eyes. He later admitted he hadn't seen his daughter genuinely smile like that since her mother passed away. As evening approached, Victoria quietly thanked everyone who had helped. She confessed that after years of solving everyone else's problems, she had forgotten what it felt like to let others carry some of her burdens. Success had taught her how to lead businesses but not how to accept kindness. That accidental email had exposed a part of her she spent years trying to hide because she believed vulnerability looked like weakness. It didn't, it looked beautifully human. The weeks after Christmas brought changes nobody expected. The company launched a charitable program supporting employees facing family emergencies. Victoria personally introduced flexible schedules for caregivers because she understood their struggles better than anyone. The old bakery reopened permanently as a small community cafe operated by former employees and neighborhood volunteers, with profits helping children's medical charities in honor of Emma's recovery journey. What started as one mistaken email eventually transformed countless lives. As for me, I never expected anything in return. Helping someone rediscover hope had already become the greatest reward I could imagine. Yet life has a remarkable way of surprising people who act without expecting applause. Months later, after the bakery became a beloved gathering place once again, Victoria invited me there early one quiet Sunday morning. The cafe was empty except for sunlight pouring through the windows and the comforting aroma of fresh cinnamon bread. We spent hours talking, not as boss and employee, but as two people who had both experienced loss, loneliness, and the healing power of unexpected compassion. Somewhere between shared memories and hopeful dreams, professional titles disappeared completely. Friendship quietly became something deeper, stronger, and impossible to ignore. Neither of us rushed it. Love built on kindness grows slowly, patiently, and honestly. 1 year after that accidental Christmas email, we stood together outside the bakery watching Emma place the star on the community Christmas tree. Victoria gently admitted that she had once written a wish believing nobody would ever read it. Looking around at laughing families, warm lights, and neighbors filling the bakery once more, she realized every impossible dream on that list had somehow come true, just not in the way she expected. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like this video, share it with your family and friends. Subscribe to Love Tales, and let us know that stories of hope still matter. Special request: before this story ends, please leave a comment telling us what one Christmas wish you still hope comes true someday. Your words might inspire someone else who needs hope today. As snow continued falling outside, I finally understood that life's greatest gifts often arrive disguised as accidents. One misplaced email revealed hidden pain, awakened an entire community's compassion, restored a family's broken traditions, and quietly brought two lonely hearts together. Christmas was never about perfect decorations or expensive presents. It was about reminding people they were never meant to carry life's heaviest burdens alone. And every December, whenever the warm lights of that little bakery glow against the winter night, people still remember the incredible Christmas wish that was accidentally sent to the wrong person, and how one simple act of kindness turned it into the greatest love story of all.